I am a Villanovan. I chose to be a part of this community, and I was chosen by the community, first through an offer of admission and later through an offer of employment. I am here. I have been here, and I belong. This past summer, I had the opportunity to visit a popular beach town at the Jersey Shore with my family. I was wearing one of my favorite summertime accessories, my Villanova sun visor. After a great day at the beach, enjoying the sun and hanging out by the water, we gathered up all of our belongings and began to make the long trek back to our car with the idea of grabbing dinner before heading home for the day. As we walked across the sand, a young girl of about 8 or 9 ran up to me and said, "Hey, I know that V. You're wearing a Villanova hat. My dad went to that school." I was thrilled at the recognition and proud that this little girl was learning all about Villanova, obviously being taught well. I told her I also went to Villanova and that one of my children was a current student and on the cheerleading team. She wanted to know if I could wait a moment so that she could introduce me to her father, and I was happy to oblige. So, a few moments later, her parents caught up to where the little girl stopped me and my family on the beach that day. We introduced ourselves, and her father explained that he was a part of the class of 1992. I shared that I graduated in 96. His next words were, "Oh, so you ran track." And there it was, the snap judgment, the stereotype, the microaggression I've experienced far too many times to count. Through a question he posed more as a statement, that father looked at me and decided there was only one possible story to explain how I came to be a student at Villanova in the mid-90s. He was wrong. There's not one singular Villanova story or one representation of a Villanova experience. We are all unique individuals with various strengths and talents. Villanovans are not a monolith. That day, that father looked at me and made a snap judgment about my story, a mistake we all, at some point, have been guilty. And yet, had he been willing to learn, he would have heard a much different story. My name is Corie Alicea. I am a legacy student. My grandfather was a class of 1955 alum of Villanova University. My aunt was the first woman assigned to the president's cabinet and started the office of vice president and general counsel. She enjoyed a groundbreaking and successful 25-year career at Villanova from 1989 to 2014. I chose Villanova. Coming in as a transfer student, I earned my bachelor's degree from the business school in 1996. My uncle served as an adjunct professor in the College of Engineering, and my cousin is currently on administrative staff. We actually get to work in the same building together. My oldest child attended Villanova as a student athlete and got to experience 2 national championships while earning 2 degrees. My middle child is a current student, forging new pathways, including helping to create a new major of study while actively elevating the voices of underrepresented identities. These family connections inspire both a deep sense of gratitude for the blessing Villanova has been for us and tremendous pride for the various contributions we have been able to make to our community. I've spent the past decade working in various roles across the university and building a strong network of relationships I value with fellow Villanovans, and I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in public administration. Some of what I just shared with you may be a surprise. They are things that you can't tell about me by just looking at me and making assumptions about my Villanova story. Bill Nye, the science guy, once said, "Everyone you meet knows something you don't." Think about that for a moment. Everyone you meet knows something you do not know. That means that both the person to your left and the person to your right has some knowledge that, if shared, would be completely new information to you. What if we really started operating as if each and every member of our community had the potential to use their unique identity to add value to our collective community? We often spend so much time focusing on the ways in which we are alike or what we have in common that we miss the opportunity to truly benefit from our diversity. My challenge is that we shift our social paradigm from just thinking about our community in terms of sameness to instead a community of unique, diverse, valuable members, united for a singular purpose. For Villanovans, that purpose is our mission of Unitas, Veritas, Caritas, or unity, truth, and love. But our unity does not require uniformity. Earlier, I mentioned that I both chose and was chosen to take part in this community. Let's unpack that thought a bit further. Whether student, faculty, staff, or alumni, you also both chose and were chosen to be a part of the Villanova community. The details of the process by which you became a member may vary, but generally, it involved you first deciding that Villanova was the right choice for you. Then, you likely worked to gather information about yourself to present for review by a hiring or admissions committee. I imagine that a large part of the information you submitted for review was about what makes you unique, special, and different from other candidates. I mean, aren't we typically counseled to present ourselves in this manner when applying for admission or employment? What good is it then to recruit uniquely talented individuals if they are only expected to assimilate upon arrival? Established in 1842, individuals have been choosing the Villanova community for the past 180 years. How then can we ensure that our community remains sustainable for the future? We must create a community where unique individuals can envision themselves thriving, where their passions and strengths can flourish, where they can stand out rather than just fit in. Additionally, we need to foster community where each of our members feels as if they belong. Building an aptitude and appreciation for individuality can further help our community as we continue to transition from a regional to a national and then global choice in a competitive market. More than that, we as a community need to develop proficiency in cultural competency. Cultural competency is the awareness that your unique identity will define your experiences and will be different from others. So let me then offer 3 practical ways in which you can work to build your cultural competency today. 1, self-reflection. Are most of the people in your sphere of influence very similar to you in terms of identity and experience? Nigerian author Chimamanda Adichie warned in her famous TED Talk, The Danger of a Single Story, that people are more than a single story. The single story creates stereotypes. The problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but that they are incomplete. They make one story become the only story. We often assume that the people we feel are very similar to us are the same as us. Not only is that incorrect, but it is very limiting to everyone. So again, I invite you to take a look at the person seated to your left. No, really look. Now look at the person on your right. Do you know that person? Okay, maybe you do. But I bet there is much more to learn, and it's just outside of your assumptions. 2, create ways to expand your knowledge. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy author Douglas Adams puts it like this: human beings who are almost unique for their ability to learn from the experiences of others are also remarkable for their apparent disinclination to do so. I encourage you to get out of your comfort zone and engage with a member of our community you don't already know. Look at that person as if they know something you don't. Ask questions that allow them to share their unique story with you. What is their experience in our community? What is true for them may not be true for you, and that's okay. But their experience can help inform a more complete truth of our community as a whole. 3, learn to listen and listen to learn. As the English scientist Jane Goodall once said, every individual matters. Every individual has a role to play. Every individual makes a difference. So, when you are listening, listen with the intent of learning new information, not with the intent of providing a response. Remember, you are trying to gain new information from a valuable source, a fellow community member. You won't find out what you don't know if you're too busy telling them what you presume to know. By doing this, we can learn a variety of new information from a multitude of different identities and perspectives. For example, I think that members of our community from international places are one of our greatest but most underutilized resource. Think about it. They offer us the ability to, in a sense, travel the world without the need for a passport. Our international colleagues can give us new information about various languages, cultures, cuisines, climates, and religion, just to name a few. What a shame to have such amazing access to the world and not take full advantage of the opportunity to learn from it. In closing, I ask the question again: how can we then ensure that our community is sustainable for the next 180 years? Can we first agree that maybe what has worked for us in the past may no longer be sufficient for our future? If so, then imagine the benefit if we shift our social paradigm from just thinking about our community in terms of how we are the same to a model that truly values the uniqueness of our individuality. The new model will not assume a singular Villanova experience or allow our implicit bias to fill in the details about someone's story. Instead, we will do the work to continuously ask questions and, more importantly, open our hearts and minds to the value of learning from one another, to welcoming new experiences and appreciating new stories. In this way, we can hope to remain a desirable choice for the very best candidates while simultaneously retaining current community members and encouraging the loyal engagement of our alumni and friends. Yes, There may be some ways in which you and I are alike. However, we are also distinct from one another, yet we are united in mission and purpose. That is what makes our community strong. That is what makes our community beautiful. That is how we can sustain our community for the future. I am a Villanovan. I chose to be a part of this community, and I was chosen, first through an offer of admission and later by an offer of employment. I am here. I have been here, and I belong. Thank you.